In today's video about No More Mr. Nice Guy, we're going to talk about why nice guys are actually so repulsive to women and make women so angry. And I want to rephrase that, not like you can make us angry. However, the result is women will be angry with you. And the videos I've made so far about the nice guy, if you could pick up on the fact that I'm angry and repulsed and disgusted, and maybe a little bit like, you can't do this, it's because they piss me off because they're inauthentic and they're slimy. Nice guys think they're nice, but they're slimy because they have no backbone, they're wimpy, they don't stand for anything, so they lack integrity, they lack authenticity. And by looking for my approval, they make me emotionally responsible for them. And then when I don't do what they want, they act like a pouty little victim. But I like people who have their own personality, their own integrity, who can stand on their own, and these nice guys can't. So, but I want to make the next videos about the nice guy coming from a place of compassion. So, I have my own limitations, but you can see the effect that these have on me. Again, a nice guy is not someone who's kind. He is a people pleaser, a slimy chameleon who operates under a covert contract. Due to his fear of abandonment and his shame about who he is has to hide who he is, and he becomes a chameleon trying to please other people in the hopes that if I am who you want and I do what you want, then you will love me. So he's actually very phony. He comes from a place of emptiness. A healthy man gives from fullness because he enjoys giving. He's in his joy when he's giving. He's not giving because he needs to get. The opposite of a nice guy is not a jerk, but it's an authentic man, an emotionally healthy, whole man. So we're going to talk about reclaiming your personal power now. This is chapter 5. And the problem is that nice guys are wimps because of their childhood experiences and what they came to believe about life. And, it is really, really painful when we think about how many children are raised by parents who don't want them or who are emotionally not equipped to be parents. They might have addiction issues, emotional issues, depression. They may be abusive. They may be sexually abusive, emotionally abusive, neglectful, not care about how you feel, abandon you, neglect you, abuse you, use you for their own emotional fulfillment, using you as a little buddy, as mommy's emotional support, daddy's emotional support, or smothering you by controlling you and only loving you if you are who they want you to be. The reason that men turn into nice guys is because, frankly, they were abused and neglected in childhood. Okay? Abused and neglected in childhood. There are other ways that people can grow up when they have these kinds of childhoods. They can also become predators. They can become abusers. They can become walled off to where they don't want to be around people at all because people don't feel safe. I think I'm more along those lines where I don't really want to bother with people. I don't know if that comes from my childhood. My childhood was relatively, what I remember, calm and peaceful. But really, I don't know, because my parents didn't have the best relationship. My dad was gone a lot working. Probably that was a good thing. And my mom had to raise 3 children basically on her own with this guy who was really not that affectionate with her. And she was a people pleaser. So I think people can also see, oh, well, my mom was a people pleaser to my dad, so women should be subservient to men. or my dad was a people pleaser to my mom, so men should be subservient to women. I think it can also come from what we saw growing up. But I believe all this really does come from childhood. I do agree with Dr. Glover. And so anyway, in the case of these nice guys, they usually feel like a victim because of what happened in their childhood. They see other people as causing the problems that they're experiencing in life. And so as a result, they often feel frustrated, helpless, resentful, and rageful. They say things like, "It's not fair. How come she gets to make the rules? I always give more than I get. If she would just." So they feel really powerless in their relationships. They feel really powerless. And I can relate to that a little bit too myself. When I was married, I felt a little bit powerless. So I'm not sure. Sometimes it can also be like, well, there's compromise in relationships, right? Like sometimes I got my way, sometimes he got his way. But I would say in the emotional part of our relationship, I didn't feel like I got what I wanted. But I don't know if that was because I'm a people pleaser or not. But I'm still trying to get things out of this book for myself, because there are definitely areas where I did allow things that I shouldn't have. Okay. So, but I think it's important when we read books like this, you see how I'm like asking questions. How can this relate to me? It's like, what can I get out of this? Okay, so even those nice guys are obsessed with trying to create a smooth problem-free life. Two major factors attempt them from attaining this goal. The first is that life is not smooth. Life does create obstacles. Life does create problems. Like Eckhart Tolle says, life is not here to be easy. It's here to challenge you. And number two is that they do the opposite of what works. They're using their childhood mechanisms of dealing with the family that was neglectful or abandoning, and then they're using those same survival skills in their adult relationships. They're using survival mechanisms, and those don't create stability in adult lives. So what is the nice guys need to get some power, personal power. I want more personal power too. Do you guys want more personal power? Okay, personal power means being confident that I can handle whatever can come, that I'm confident I can handle whatever may come up. Personal power. It's the result of feeling fear and not giving in to that fear. Okay? Feeling fear and not giving in to that fear, because I can handle whatever comes my way. Now, here are some examples, and this book has a lot of activities that if you really want to do this, you can't just read the book. You got to do the activities or give some thought to these things, or explain it to another person at least, or think, how does this apply to my life? Here are some ways that nice guys try to create a smooth problem-free life, and these are ways that you are out of your power. These are the opposite of power. Doing it right, playing it safe. These are examples of how we are powerless. And I do these things sometimes too, okay? So you don't have to be perfect, but just be aware that these following ways of being are examples of being powerless. Doing it right, playing it safe, anticipating and fixing, trying not to rock the boat, being charming and helpful, never being a moment's problem, using covert contracts, meaning you think if I do this for you, you'll do this for me, but you don't ever say it. It's like this hidden agreement. Controlling and manipulating, caretaking and pleasing, withholding information, repressing feelings, making sure other people don't have feelings, avoiding problems and difficult situations. Oh, I certainly do some of these. I'm sure all of us do some of these. So just to gain more power in our lives, just to be aware, when did I withhold information or repress my feelings, or when you shared something didn't allow you to have feelings about it, or thought you couldn't handle something, avoiding a problem, avoiding a discussion. And nice guys in their relationships, they don't want to bring stuff up because they don't want to rock the boat. So they'll be secretly angry, but they're not going to say a thing because they don't want to cause a problem. This will make your woman angry and turned off. This will lead to no sex, guys. The sex chapter is coming up later. Okay, so nice guys have to face their fear of abandonment. We talked in the previous chapter about spending time alone, doing things that you enjoy, and just realizing the world doesn't fall apart. And when you do things you enjoy, you'll actually feel better about yourself. Also, expressing feelings. Nice guys are terrified of two kinds of feelings, their own and everyone else's. Any kind of intensity causes nice guys to feel out of control. As children, feeling things intensely invited either negative attention or no attention at all. So it became safer to feel nothing at all. I'm going to say that this probably applies to a lot more people than just nice guys, because a lot of us were raised in homes where we're not allowed to feel. There's another term called childhood emotional neglect, and the idea of children having feelings and being allowed to express their feelings is relatively new in parenting and in society, probably since the 80s or the 90s. So that's something that I also work on for myself, that it's okay, you can be with your feelings and I don't have to take that on. I can just be present for them, or I can express my feelings and trust that you can handle them, you know. So maybe this is a nice guy part of me, because women can be nice guys too. Or maybe that's just lack of practice. I don't really know, but it's just fun to explore all this. I certainly do that. Okay. I frequently hear nice guys rationalize the withholding of their feelings by claiming they don't want to hurt anyone. That's kind of related to what I was just saying. Like, if I tell you how I feel, you will be hurt, and I don't want to hurt you. For me, that has to do with, I don't think that you can handle your feelings, or I don't think that you're competent. I think you're just going to fall apart. And I think that comes from me as a child, where I had to make sure I didn't upset my parents, or my dad was kind of sensitive emotionally. Like, we had to hug him as soon as he came in from work, and we had to like respect him, or he would just get so upset, like he couldn't handle it. So I think that's where it might come from for me. Like, people can't handle their feelings. They're gonna fall apart. But I don't know. I'm just like kind of guessing at things for myself. But for nice guys, the truth is they're covering their own butts. What they're really saying is they don't want to do anything that might recreate their childhood experiences. They're not trying to protect anyone from harm. They're just trying to keep their world smooth and under control. I frequently tell nice guys, your feelings are just feelings. They won't kill you. Your feelings are not life-threatening, whether they're anxious, helpless, shameful, lonely, rageful, or sad. The goal of teaching nice guys to embrace their feelings is not to make men soft and touchy-feely. Men who are in touch with their feelings are powerful, assertive, and energized. By the way, you have to be in touch with your feelings to be good in bed, guys. If you're not in touch with your feelings, you cannot attune to the woman and her body and her sensations and her pleasure. So that's why some of these older guys are so bad in bed. You have to be in touch with your feelings. Contrary to what many nice guys believe, they don't have to become more like women in order to have feelings. This is why I support men in learning about their feelings from other men. Feelings are an integral part of human existence. Okay? If you don't have feelings, you're probably going to be depressed. If you've pushed down your feelings, when we do that, and I think when people repress their feelings because they don't think their feelings are safe, they really kind of disconnect themselves from a large part of their own human experience and their ability to feel pleasure and joy and aliveness, actually. By learning the language of feelings, recovering nice guys can begin to let go of a lifetime of unnecessary baggage. Now, so we talked about the fear of abandonment. Now we talk about fear. Fear is recorded at the cellular level, and it's a very deep memory of life-threatening experiences. And this kind of fear is called memory fear. So there's real fear, like walking out on a busy highway. Okay, that would be scary. That's real fear. But there's also memory fear. That's fear created in childhood that's still running your life, but it's not fear based on what's actually risky or dangerous today. Nice guys still approach the world as if it is dangerous and overpowering. Therefore, they hunker down and play it safe. And these are some examples of fear from childhood that is still running the show today. If you find yourself avoiding new situations, staying with the familiar, procrastinating, avoiding, and failing to finish what you start, making a bad situation worse by doing more of what has never worked in the past, and trying to control the uncontrollable. I mean, certainly I've done that in my marriage when I didn't bring things up, I think he and I both did that. I think a lot of people do that. I think there's a lot of this for everyone in this book. Even if you're not a nice guy, how many of us do not bring things up in a relationship because we want to keep the peace? We don't want to rock the boat, because it was never modeled to us how to have a challenging discussion. And maybe in the past, when we did have challenging discussions with the teacher, we were yelled at by the teacher or yelled at by our parents, so that's kind of memory fear. We don't even know it exists till someone brings it to our attention in a book like this. Okay, nice guys are fundamentally dishonest. Most nice guys pride themselves on being honest and trustworthy. In reality, they are fundamentally dishonest. They withhold the truth, and they believe that they are still honest people. They might say, I didn't lie, I just didn't tell her everything. So that's a fear of just owning who you are. That's personal power. This is who I am. This is it. And being able to stand behind who we are, what we stand for, how we feel, what we like, and just standing in that. And letting, sometimes it's just good to just practice in small ways, but anyway, he says, when nice guys are learning to tell the truth, I encourage them to pay attention to the things they at least want others to know. Then there's a section on boundaries, but I'm going to save that for the next section on reclaiming your masculinity. And yeah, so thank you for watching.